3, 2, 1.
And now, you're tuned into the Navarro-Miller Report, featuring the hottest in news, entertainment, sports, and all those topics for the mainstream audience. The Navarro-Miller Report.
Examine your reality.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Navarro-Miller Report. I'm your host, Dave Navarro.
I'm Jeremy Miller.
And today we have special guest co-host from American Idol Season 2, Mr. Clay Aiken. Clay, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Hello. Good to be here.
Awesome. I got to tell you, Jeremy's been fanboying out like crazy since I told him we were going to have you on here.
I have to admit,
well.
I am a huge fan, and so is my family. I will get in trouble if I don't tell you this off the bat. My mother is a dedicated and proud Claymate, and my fiance, I bought her the album Measure of a Man when her and I first met, and she was going through a horrific divorce, dealing with a lot of issues about, abuse and trauma from that relationship. And the song Carry You, I Will Carry You, literally, she put it on almost every single night, and it kept her from having nightmares.
Oh my God, that's incredibly sweet. So I'm totally besties with Jeremy, and Dave, you have no taste, apparently.
Yes.
I didn't say anything.
That's the problem. That's exactly the problem. You didn't say anything.
Ouch. You know what? I mean, I quit. I'm out of here. Jeremy, it's your show. Bye.
I love it. Already getting into Dave's grill.
Oh my God. Well, the thing with me is, like, the one thing that we have in common, actually, Clay, is that you worked with Ryan Seacrest, and so did I. I was actually his intern back when he was on Star 98.7 here in Los Angeles.
That was back when he was on Star when I was on Idol. That's a while ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm aging myself here.
So you're old. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
No taste, and you're old. Got it.
We'll keep it there. So anyway, we got a lot of awesome things to talk about today, including your tour that you have right now with, or that you had with Ruben for the 20th anniversary of American Idol. We have some people, actually, thank you so much for joining the stream so far. We have JC saying, hey, Jeremy Miller, Dave Navarro, and the amazing Clay Aiken. Honored to meet you virtually, Clay. You're one of my musical idols, one singer to another, all three of you looking phenomenal. So thank you so much, JC, for that. We got Kristen over on YouTube saying, just saw Clay and Ruben in Raleigh. You guys are amazing as usual. So we have a lot of people that are very excited to have you here. We're excited to have you here. Jeremy's definitely excited to have you here. But as we start the show off today, we actually have a little bit of a tradition here, Clay, that I play blind reacts for Jeremy because he refuses to get a TikTok. So hashtag Jeremy, get a freaking TikTok.
Good for you. Good for you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Are you another one? We're going to start.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I got a 15-year-old who lives on it, and I just refuse. I'm too old at this point to do
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Guys,
It'll be, you know what? It'll be like MySpace in a few years anyway. No one will be using it, and that's when I'll join. I'll always be a good 5 years behind the trends. That's what I like to do.
Oh my God. Well, since you guys refuse to go ahead and get a TikTok, I am force feeding you guys some of these TikTok videos. And this one actually has to do with basically, rushing. Well, I mean, I don't know if you've ever played video games, but there's usually a lag on some video games. And this guy took it completely to the next level. Check it out.
Sorry.
So basically, that's what would happen if people were to lag it in real life. And Clay, you look a little bit disturbed by the video.
Listen, I'm impressed by it. I'm impressed by anybody who can do that sort of video editing. I do wonder what it tells about us, about our society. This is how people spend their times all day. But making. I mean, how much time do you think it took him to make that?
Oh, so much.
That's a lot of time.
That's some commitment right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say this guy is dedicated to the TikTok craft, because I've seen his other videos, and oh my god, they're like, it's the type of stuff that you're like, how many takes did that actually do for him to go ahead and do that? It was weird.
That's what I gotta say. It's the commitment. I gotta respect the commitment. I may not get the video, or but I look at that, I know everything that had to have gone into it, and physical commitment. Throwing yourself over a railing a few times is not easy either. So, and
in our stream we have Mom. Jeremy's mom is on here right now. She says, "I wish I had the tech talent to make such TikToks."
This is why I don't have a TikTok.
The next video we got going on right here is basically, I love this guy too. I watch him a lot, and his streams his TikToks are hilarious. It's Master Ken. He is a martial artist, and I say that very loosely. And his style of martial arts, well, it's a little bit interesting. Check it out.
That aims 2 guns at me. First thing I need to do, get off the path of the weapon. I need to get safe. So I'm going to go right here. Okay? Can't get shot. Can't get shot here. It is going to be very loud when he's firing. So what I recommend is reaching over the guns and plugging your ears to preserve your hearing. Okay? What he's then going to likely do is try to point the guns at me where I am. That's okay, I want that, okay? I'm gonna drop down. He begins to fire. The bullets hit each other, and I catch them, okay? What I'm gonna be doing is putting them in his pants, okay? They're hot lead. He fires, hot lead, put it in his pants, hot lead, put it in his pants, hot lead, put it in his pants, okay? Burning the groin. That's gonna distract him, okay? I'm then going to escape the next line as he points at me. Here. As he points the weapon at me again. Pulling the weapons away. Regripping. Look at that.
God, I hope they're not paying for his martial arts classes.
I feel like he's the guy who must have choreographed The Matrix or something. It looked like, I feel like if you sped that up, it would be what Keanu Reeves did in The Matrix.
Oh my God,
we'll go with that. I like it.
I think you probably did. This next video we got going on is basically, and it's so funny because this guy's TikTok is Latinos against horror, against spooky shit, and basically it's the video's very quick, so don't blink. At the very end of this, he's actually doing a stitch. At the end of this forest, you see an arm grabbing a tree and then disappearing. Now,
spoiler alert.
Well, because the thing is, it goes by fast. I have to go ahead and let you know about this. So just keep an eye out for that right there at the very end, at the very far right. So check it out. Look how freaking...
Hola, buenas tardes. Listen, it's cool that you think your lights are really bright and everything, but you know what's brighter than your lights? The sun. So let's just hang out during the daytime, okay? But anyways, representative Latinos against spooky shit. For those of you that don't see what's happening, if you look right in the middle of that video, you see a hand sliding away from the tree. Now, this is a couple different things that it could have been. One, none of your problems, and two, none of your damn business. Okay, so my recommendation for this one, hang out at home, hang out with your family, only during the daytime. Nighttime is for sleep time, nighttime. That's why it was created. Okay, on the seventh day, God slept or whatever. I don't know. I don't read the Bible. Okay, so my recommendation for this one, you're gonna put a little Vicks in your fuel tank. Okay, you're gonna keep a Jesus candle in your car, and you're gonna stop going out into the woods. Okay, Dios los bendiga, best of luck, take care of yourselves. Don't forget to check out my link for merch and to help in my immigration.
I think that's sound advice. I mean, if you see an arm at the end of the tree, just slide away, run away. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, look at the pretty trees. Come on. I mean, Clay, I mean, have you ever witnessed anything like out of the ordinary like that?
Just maybe how much time you spend on TikTok is the most out of the ordinary thing I can think of. A lot of time on TikTok to find all of these.
Hey, I do it for entertainment purposes only. So.
Of course.
You're sacrificing it for all the rest of you're sacrificing for our benefits.
I do the best I can. I do the best I can. I also to annoy Jeremy too. So the last video I got actually is not from TikTok. This one's from actually Instagram, which Clay, I know you're.
Oh, that makes it so much better. Yes,
you're a part of it too. Okay, so don't give me grief about it because you're on.
We
Instagram.
have to be a part of it nowadays.
Yeah.
This last one was actually very talented how they did this video. It's pretty much a Michael Jackson workout all the way. And well, just check this out.
Yes, wait, okay.
There's the moonwalk.
Yes.
If Michael Jackson
but I bet you Michael could have done all of that. I bet you he could have done all of that.
I bet you he could have, guaranteed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He could have easily come out with a Michael Jackson workout video, and I guarantee you it would have sold more copies than any workout video known to man if he did something like that right now. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the little blind reactions. I know, Clay, I think you enjoyed it a little bit.
There were some fun ones in there, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And it keeps me from having to get a TikTok. That's perfect.
Hey, That's
why I agree to this.
Yes, you're right.
I'm doing a service for you guys here, making sure you guys, enjoy it without actually having to sign up. So there you go. And I'm doing it for everybody else that's watching as well. They don't have to sign up for TikToks. Just watch, the Navarro-Miller Report, and you'll watch some of the blind reacts right here now. So we're good. Moving on to some weird and outlandish news. A man steals a claw. Jeremy, what in the world did you find for us today?
So, yeah, we have a gentleman in Illinois, in Marion, Illinois, who was apparently late for his flight and decided to steal a backhoe from a construction site and drive it 10 miles to the airport to catch his flight.
Now, I've been very desperate to not miss a flight a few times. I'm not sure I'd go that far.
That's what I was thinking. I've done some crazy things to make a flight. Stealing farm equipment, maybe not so much. So he actually got caught very easily, needless to say, because he parked the backhoe in the short-term parking lot at the airport, caught his flight. While he was gone, the gentleman who owned the construction company noticed on the video that his equipment had been taken. The cops were easily able to trace it, and when the man got back from his trip, he was arrested and charged with grand theft.
Wait a second. So he got to take the whole trip. Marion Police Department's not very quick on the uptick, are they? I mean, he stole a backhoe and drove it all the way to the airport.
Well, you have to figure it was only 10 miles, and maybe he didn't come across a highway patrol during that time. I don't
I don't know. I mean, those backhoes don't go very fast. So
You would think.
if you see a backhoe rolling down the interstate to the airport and park it in the short-term lot, I feel like it should shoot a few red flags up, right?
I think people were just like
Apparently it
in
did
awe of
not.
it. They probably were just like, wow, you don't see that every day, do you? And start TikToking it.
But he shows up in the short-term park. Did he pay for parking?
I would assume so. He didn't run over the gate from what I didn't.
He took the ticket, and no one at any point said, you might want to check this out. He got to the airport, I'm assuming, at least 45 minutes ahead of time.
You would assume.
Made it through PSA. Man, the Marion Airport. And it was the Marion, Illinois airport?
Marion, Illinois.
I can't imagine that's a big international hub or anything.
No. But yeah, apparently maybe this happens regularly. Maybe the local farmers occasionally park their tractors, or I don't know.
That's probably what it is right there.
I'm wondering,
it's the fact that he's not the first person to show up at the Marion, Illinois airport in a backhoe or a tractor.
Yeah, you could actually see, I could almost imagine, security be like, huh, well, park it right over there. Just right over there.
Sure. They probably recognized him. They probably knew him. It can't be a big town. They probably there comes Jim. Oh, he stole a backhoe this time. Last time it was the Chevy Corsica, but this time it's a backhoe.
Exactly. They all knew him and everything. So that's exactly how it probably went down. Oh my God, I swear. And the funny thing is that usually we make fun of Florida Man, because Florida Man's always doing something crazy, but Florida Man's been taking a break now, Jeremy.
Florida Man's had a good solid month-long break now from the show, so I'm impressed. I
think he's running for president.
Thank you for saying it.
Oh my God.
Oh dear Lord, don't say it.
I'm done. I'm so done. I quit.
That was brilliant.
Oh Lord. Okay. On that, we're moving on to some entertainment news. And in entertainment news, Justin Bieber's father is trying to clarify a comment that he made a couple days ago, actually, on his social media, posting because it's Pride Month, and he basically posted a poster saying, "Don't forget to thank a straight person this month for your existence." Now, of course, he got a lot of pushback from that, a lot of bad backlash from that. So he decided to try and clarify what he meant by that. And he went on social media and said, quote, "My post was to acknowledge families. That's it. And before you say I abandoned my son, move on. That's an old narrative pushed. It's ridiculous and didn't happen. Now, my delivery may have been poor, but it was not to be hateful or homophobic." This is probably where he should have stopped, but no, he kept going. And he went on ahead to say, "My brother is gay and I adore him. Love whomever you want. That's your business, not, quote, mine. My problem is the hostile takeover of our cities and schools by the LGBTQ. This is the concern of many. There is a place for everyone and everyone's opinion. That does not equal hate." Now, again, he probably should have stopped while he was ahead, but when he kept going, it was like, dude, why you should just cut, done, bye, it's over. But he kept going. So Clay, I'm definitely going to go ahead and ask your opinion.
This is why we should not have added more characters to Twitter, because people just keep talking more and more and more. I mean, I'm going to ask the same thing that I asked before, because when you told me this was a topic, I said, now who's clarifying the comments? Did Justin make them or did his dad make them? And you said his dad, and I said, why the fuck are we listening to his dad in the first place? And I'm going to underline that and say, I mean, I get frustrated because I think we give people more, like, even I would not have even responded to him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
When he was having to clarify comments, and no one should have even given a flying what he said in the first place. I mean, sometimes it's more powerful to ignore. He's Justin Bieber's dad, he's irrelevant. His son is certainly not relevant. And if he had said something like that, I'd need some more explanation, but I don't give a flying shit what his dad says. And, I feel like it just gave him more oxygen to even respond in the first place, to even to give him any pushback. Who cares? Be a homophobe, say what you want to say, make a joke done in front of whatever.
I agreed. I mean, I'm in your camp with this one. I don't understand why anybody is giving it more space and more air, honestly, and that goes including us. It's a throwaway topic. Who is he and why does his opinion matter? It's the old saying, and I don't know him personally, but I mean, it's an old saying. Everybody, assholes and opinions, everyone's got one.
Yep. But you know what? I mean, even beyond that, I would say that it goes beyond who is he and why does it matter. This is just my opinion. This is my asshole for you. I feel like even had Justin himself said something, or someone who was in the public eye who had said something that I didn't agree with, I feel like we've gotten at this place in society where we feel the need to respond to everything, and sometimes some people say things that they don't intend to be offensive, but they are. And if we know that person and they have a track record of being inclusive or a track record of being accepting, and they make a statement that lands, or make a joke that lands wrong, I feel like we should give them a break, give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean,
Agreed.
It's Whoopi Goldberg, for example, has gotten in trouble for a lot of stuff that she said on The View, but she's got a track record of being incredibly welcoming and inclusive to all races and religions and genders and sexual orientations, etc. So, if she makes a joke, it doesn't land well, why do we give her shit for it? And then there's another group of people who say things specifically to get a response.
Mm-hmm.
Like they say things that are homophobic or racist or anti-Semitic, and they're saying it online just to get the ire of people who disagree with them. And I feel like we give them more power when we even respond.
Absolutely.
And so
we feed into it way too much.
I think that the reason why it's been like people are actually talking about it is mainly for the fact of the matter that it is Justin Bieber's father, and also the fact of the matter that he's been pretty much said that he wasn't in his life or anything like that, and it's just that people kind of look at it that, wow, well, Justin, let's see what Justin says. And he hasn't said anything. That's one of the reasons why I believe they made this news, because they're waiting to see what Justin might say, if he's going to maybe go against what his father was saying or defend his father, try to explain for his father. They're waiting for an explanation. They're trying to, in my opinion, I think that they're trying to goad Justin into saying something. And
I hope he says nothing. I hope he says nothing at all.
That's probably that's probably what his team is telling him to do, is not say anything. Just, what? Let your dad say what he wants to say. Keep it there and do not say anything. Just ignore it and keep on living your life, because Justin's got enough problems going on in his life right now with his health, with Haley's health, with everything that's going on. So he's got enough issues, let alone a dog pile like this. It's too much. And so that's probably the reason why they're trying to make it news, to see if he were to say something. And the other thing that I believe is that people are probably wondering, well, if this is how his dad thinks, what does Justin think? He was, is he like his father? La la la. It could be many reasons why they're making it news in order to go ahead and make it even bigger. They're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, out of a moron. So,
we all know media loves drama, whether they have to help create it or not. They have always loved drama, and they will continue to love drama. It's us who continue to feed into it and, constantly consume it. So, that's the responsibility.
I'm on a drama diet right now.
I am.
I'm not consuming any of that shit.
I am trying hard, Clay.
It's like Lord,
I am abstaining.
It's like, Lord, give me strength. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if Justin decides to go ahead and break silence.
See what happens, because I won't be giving a shit.
There
You have to let me know.
Yes.
There you go.
We'll
We'll let everybody know. How about that? In other entertainment news, Steven Spielberg felt that helpless during filming E.T. and watching Drew Barrymore's childhood pretty much being taken away little by little. Drew Barrymore went ahead and she did a new profile published by Vulture, and she praised Spielberg as, quote, the only person in my life to this day that that was a parental figure. Basically, Drew wanted Steven to be her father because, of course, there were reports that Drew Barrymore's father was an alcoholic, and she basically looked at Steven as a father figure, to the point that even Steven Spielberg, during the filming of E.T., she he didn't want to spoil her childhood, and made her believe that E.T. was real. He was a real little alien. And when she saw all the guys, the puppeteers handling him, she would actually get upset about that. And Steven would go ahead and tell her, well, E.T. needs more assistance than I do. I only have one. E.T. has several. He's a very important person to this film, so that they're his assistants. Just keeping that wonderful childhood mentality going for a young girl that was going through so much, that had to grow up very quickly. And I'm a huge Steven Spielberg fan. I look up to him, and this right here, what she said, that just makes me even that solidifies why I'm such a huge fan of Steven Spielberg. Jeremy, you knew Drew, you knew her, and we've talked about this. You dated her very briefly. I mean, what do you feel? How do you feel about what Steven did for her during this very difficult time in her childhood?
Well, I love that he did that for her, that she had someone like that when her own parents weren't really filling that role. If that was the case, her and I never talked about that stuff. As I've told you before, I was kind of her safe friend. We talked normal kid stuff. We kept it very light. It was when she was going through her addiction and everything. I mean, it was very early in her, she was 13 years old. I didn't hear about this side of it. So the fact that she had someone like that really is special, and I'm glad she had that, but that's rare. I mean, directors, producers, they don't think about that stuff. They don't care. They want to get the shot. I can give you an example from Growing Pains. In either the first or second season, I think it was the second season, there was an episode where my character gets in trouble for having called a porn line a bunch of times.
Oh, I remember that episode.
So here's the deal, though. Before filming, the producers wanted me to understand what this show was about and what we were dealing with. And they wanted me at 9 years old to listen to real 976 porn lines.
Wow.
My mother put her foot down, needless to say, and said, absolutely not. That's not happening. She fought it tooth and nail, and it did not happen. But that's the kind of thing producers do without even thinking. They want the best they can, the most realism, they will sacrifice a child's innocence and childhood without a blink of an eye. So the fact she had someone protecting her, at least for a little time, is really awesome.
Now, Clay, you have a kid as well. I mean, are you trying to shield your child from I mean, because you're famous, everybody knows who you are. Are you trying to shield him from the entertainment industry, or are you pretty much just letting him, grow up, do what he wants to do? I mean, would you encourage him to get into this entertainment industry?
I'd neither encourage nor discourage. I don't think that's what he's interested in at all. So I'm glad. But no, we have definitely done our very best to try to give him as normal a childhood as possible. You'd be hard pressed to find any pictures of him after probably age of 2. I think was the last time we missed out and paparazzi called him. There are no pictures on anybody's social media. We've done all of that. So I think he's had a normal enough childhood. Also being able to have his adolescence in Raleigh and not in LA has been helpful for that. To the point of the Spielberg story, I don't have any frame of reference for what it's like to be a child in Hollywood. I didn't start until I was 24. But I will say this with regard to Spielberg, I have recognized over 20 years of doing this that the people who are at the top of their game, who truly are the best at what they do, I'm talking about people like Spielberg or Meryl Streep or Glenn Close or people who are really at their A game tend to, in my experience, treat people much better. People who are comfortable with themselves in my experience, treat people much better and have more empathy for others than people who are not happy with where they are in their careers, so to speak. And obviously, Steven Spielberg is at the top of his game. I don't think he has any doubt at all of his ability, or I imagine his self-esteem is perfectly fine. And so it doesn't surprise me at all to learn that he is empathetic and he has that takes that genuine care for the people who are working for him or with him.
No, that's a true fact. And it's one of those things where, I mean, you like, especially working with children on set, I would imagine it's something that you need to understand, that they are still kids. At the end of the day, they're still children. And they like, granted, now we live in a world of social media where pretty much a kid could pick up a phone and find anything online, which is a very, very scary thought for many parents today. But it's one of those things where we still as adults have a responsibility to these children and try to keep their innocence as long as we possibly can. I mean, growing up, my parents, I mean, they kept my innocence as much as possible by saying there's still a Santa Claus. Even when kids were trying to tell me there wasn't a Santa Claus, my mom would be like, my mom was
Wait, what?
Oops, sorry.
See, I told you he's horrible. I'm sorry, Clay.
I'm done. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
The
to
whole
spoil it.
demographic you just lost right here. Completely cut it out.
We just lost like 60% of the viewers right now. They're like, don't listen to that. But I mean, it was one of those things where it's, we like, they try to do as much as they could to keep my innocence. And that's important. That's really important, especially for children nowadays with everything that they can see online. It's so important to keep their innocence as long as possible. I commend Steven Spielberg for what he did. And again, I think that doing that for a young girl growing like that was forced to grow up so quickly because of the atmosphere that she was surrounded by, the parents that she had, whatever the case may have been, it was very important and incredible for Steven Spielberg, a man that is like in the spotlight. Everybody knows who he is. I don't know if at the time, I don't think he won Academy Awards just yet. But I mean, he was huge at the time and still is to this day, to go ahead and take the time and say, hey, you know what? That puppet is real. That character is real. He needs a bunch of assistants. I only need one. And just to keep that's just an amazing thing for him to do. I commend him for it personally. And it's just an amazing story for Drew Barrymore to have shared.
She ain't doing too bad either.
Nope, not a bit. It is so good to see how far she's come from, every struggle she had. And even now, she admitted that, she had fallen off the wagon for a while after her divorce. And now she's gotten herself, back into sobriety and getting her life back together. And she's doing amazing. And she's doing, I cannot tell you how much respect I have for everything she's come through and where she's at.
I mean, and going back to what Jeremy had spoken about, how they wanted to like have you listen to those types of 976 numbers. We have Deborah right here. She said, I got in trouble for calling Woodpecker hotline when I was a child. I mean, I gotta admit, I got in trouble as well. There was a Batman hotline that I would call, and my parents, when they saw the bill, they were like, are you freaking kidding me right now? I was like, but it's Batman, Mom.
I called a few numbers. I also bought a lot of albums from the Columbia House because they said they were only a penny.
Yeah.
They said they were only a penny. So I got them. I didn't know you had to buy 1,500 more at the regular price.
I still owe Columbia House by a lot. I was like, screw it, you said a penny. I'm gone. Different address, change of address right now. Oh my God. Those are good times though. Those are the days. It's right before Napster and all them started saying, hey, music is free. Have at it. Yeah. It's no longer even a penny anymore. We got Meg saying, I was told Santa wasn't real when I was in like middle school. Oh, that's just terrible. That's not good.
That's about right.
That's about right. I caught my mom way before that, but I think there's nothing wrong with middle school.
Middle school seems about right. If by the time you get to sixth grade, seventh grade, if you still believe it, you might need to see a counselor.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that-
We might need to get you. We might need to get you tested if you still believe it in 7th grade. When my son found out, his mother was very worried about telling him. When he found out, he just looked and said, "I've known for a few years." He was letting it live on for his parents instead of him.
What a great kid.
But by 7th grade, you probably ought to be. I mean, a
Catching
fat
up.
man coming down the chimney now. What?
that
You
explains why my
better still
parents
be
put me through,
believing that.
well, that explains why my parents put me through therapy. Okay, we're not going to talk
There
about
you
it.
go.
Anyways,
Tell me what this ink blot looks like, Dave, to you. What does this look like to you?
a big fat man coming down my chimney. What is going
There you
on?
go.
Yes. In other entertainment news, Tom Holland is taking a year off of acting after filming The Crowded Room. Now, basically, this case it has to do because the role that he's playing is very emotional. He put a lot of emotion in this, but on top of that, he's actually producing this series as well on Apple TV. He went ahead and in an interview, he said, quote, "It was a rough time for sure. We were exploring certain emotions that I have definitely never experienced before. And then on top of that, being a producer, dealing with the day-to-day problems that come with any film set just added that extra level of pressure. I'm no stranger to hard work. I've lived by the idea that hard work is good work. Then again, the show did break me. There did come a time where I needed a break and disappeared and went to Mexico for a week and had time on a beach and laid low. I'm now taking a year off, and that is a result of how difficult the show was. I'm excited to see how it turns out. I feel like hard work wasn't I feel like our hard work wasn't in vain." Now, the thing that I'm looking at here is how a lot of these actors really put in their method actors by the looks of it, and by the looks of it, Tom went method on this one. They put their entire emotion to the point where it makes them explode. I don't think that Jeremy, you had that Laurence Olivier saying that I would love for you to repeat that saying. What was the saying that he said before?
It was just an old Laurence Olivier met a young up-and-coming A-list celebrity who was really hot at the time, and he happened to be a method actor, and he's telling Laurence Olivier all about his process and how he goes about his method acting, and Laurence just kept listening to him and nodding, and then he just kind of glanced at him and said, "That sounds great, but have you ever tried acting?" and again, I don't say that, scenario and quote to make fun of method actors. They've given us some of the most brilliant performances that ever lived. I mean, De Niro, Pacino, Leo, when he went ahead and did What's Eating Gilbert Grape, which was such an amazing performance. As I told you, my neighbor who has CP, his father, when he saw the movie the first time, didn't know Leo was an actor. He thought they had hired a child with cerebral palsy to play the part. That's how convincing Leo was in that role. So I'm not criticizing method actors, but it can be taken too far and it can be dangerous. We have plenty of actors who kind of went off the deep end after going, too deep into a role. And just off the top of my head, in the last 15, 20 years, we have Heath Ledger, who, couldn't quite leave alone all the demons he opened up when he went into the Joker. And we also have, who's admitted it many times, Jim Carrey, who has openly said that he delved way too deep into his Andy Kaufman character and really kind of lost a little bit of himself when he did The Man in the Moon. So I'm not saying it's not brilliant at times. It can be amazing, but I can see why someone would need to take a year off. Burnout is real. And if you have laid every emotion you have in yourself bare and open for the entire world for 8 to 12 straight weeks while filming, you might need a little break.
Just a little. Clay, have you ever...
You're very, very generous. I am the last. You're so generous to the. Okay, first of all, he was one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people who were listed on that show as an executive producer. I just counted them. He was given the executive producer title in order to get him to do the show.
Of course.
His work, the amount of work he did producing that show was jack shit. I mean, he probably got to see the overnights, and he probably got, he probably was in the room when they talked about certain things, but he didn't do shit as executive producer. And Jeremy, just drive home the fact that you said, if you're laying all your emotions out for 8 or 12 weeks, give me an entire, not a little bit, an entire fucking break. These folks are not working third shift at the factory. You know what? And there are a lot of people in this country who work third shift at the factory, go home, go to sleep for an hour or two, and then go work their second job at second shift, and they don't make the money to be able to take a year off, and they don't bitch about how exhausted they are from working 2 jobs. So I'm sorry, I don't have much. Listen, I get tired as hell when I'm on tour and I'm on stage and I have to be in a different city every single night. And yeah, sometimes I think, oh my God, this is exhausting. I don't want to do it again. But at the end of the day, I'm getting paid to stand on stage and sing. And that's it. I'm literally working just a few hours a day and I'm singing. He's playing dress up. Yes, he had to cry some. Yes, he had to laugh some. Yes, he had to feel real dirt. And he should be compensated for what he's doing. A lot of people are paying money to go, and he should be fairly compensated. The money should not just go to the studio, etc. But and great, he's been fairly compensated, so he has the money that's necessary to take a year off. And so I commend him for being able to do that. I would love to have, I'm sure, the salary he made for all that executive producing he did. I'm sure I'd enjoy. I'd like that. And so I don't know what the word is. I don't fault him for having the success he has. I just don't buy the whole, I'm so tired, I have to take off a year. You know what? Try working at a factory. Try building a car. You know what I mean? Try digging a few damn ditches, and then you can bitch about how you're so tired you got to take a year off. Just take a year off and say, you know what? I'm lucky as hell. I'm going to take a year off and spend my money. Don't give me the sob story. I just can't deal with it.
True words are never spoken. I mean, that's a fact, actually. And it's like, go ahead and say, well, I've been doing Spider-Man. I've been doing appearances. I've been doing this, that, and the other. I'm tired. I want to take a year off. That's a little bit more respectful. But like, as you said, if you're going to go ahead and bitch about,
don't complain about the job. Don't complain about how much it drains you. And it was just so hard pretending to be happy and sad all the time. I mean, just give me a fucking break. You're tired. I'm rich as shit and I don't want to work for a year. End of article.
And I'd respect that too. I would absolutely respect that. I think I was looking more at I haven't seen this particular project. I don't know how he had to push himself. I was speaking more to the few actors who do occasionally touch madness in a performance.
I'm not questioning what you're saying. I don't mean, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not questioning what you're saying.
No, but I agree completely with what you're saying.
I know that sometimes this stuff can be exhausting. It definitely can be exhausting. I don't doubt that at all. I don't love complainers.
I'm with you. My whole family is as blue collar as can be and have been factory workers and sales reps and everything in between. And believe me, I
bet you they'd love to take a year off after spending 8 to 12 weeks playing dress up.
And well, here's the thing. And speaking of, in our audience, we actually have a teacher, and she basically says, Lisa says, I just finished my 28th year of teaching. Now I'm tired.
God bless you.
And you know what, girl? You earned it.
Facts on life right there. JC's saying Clay's dead on. If he worked a normal 9 to 5 and then felt he needed the year off, he'd have legit cause. But for as little and sporadic as he did in such projects, he was just kvetching ridiculously. Sorry, not sorry. So, I mean, that's a lot of people feel pretty much the same way. And these are just facts.
Now,
I mean,
I'll have to say, I haven't read the article that you brought this from, Dave. I should look it up. I'm taking all of this based on the fact that you told the story and implied that he
we won't
complained.
hold
Now,
you
maybe
to
he
it.
didn't complain. So I won't. Yeah, don't. If he didn't complain, then I need to take all this stuff away. If he
Well, it
was
could be
just
construed
mentioning,
that
a
way.
little time.
It could be
Yeah,
construed-
but
it-
sometimes
it's-
sometimes
it's-
you can say something a certain way, not mean to be complaining, but the article was written a different way. So I will give him a little leeway also that maybe he wasn't complaining, but the writer made it sound like he was. But if
Well,
he
it was
was
actually-
complaining, I refer you back to my previous comments.
And I mean, it was actually the articles from variety.com. And basically, like, they were just taking excerpts from his interview with Extra. So that's how that interview went down. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it does sound like he's a little bit kind of like throwing a little shade for his work and everything. But I mean, if you're doing what you love, it's not really work now, is it? It's something that you love to do. I mean, Clay, you're a singer. It's not really work. It's something you love to do. And you enjoy doing it. You enjoy entertaining
a lot of work.
so many people. And it's a lot
Most
of
of the time I love it. It is a lot of work, but and listen, I will certainly complain, but I just always like to keep the perspective that I could be digging ditches.
Mhm.
I could be in a much different place than I am. And I know how lucky I am. Don't mean that my knees don't hurt after having to be on stage for several hours or sleeping in a bus. They do. And but I know that at the end of the day, no matter what, I have been blessed to be able to do what I love. And that is, and I don't have any room to complain.
And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I have room to complain every time whenever I'm here with Jeremy, but that's beside the point.
You should feel blessed that I grant my presence to you.
Oh,
There you
please.
go. There you go.
I mean, you're just lucky that I'm here living my best. Well, I guess my life, not my best life, but we'll go behind beside that. In other entertainment news, because I'm here every day with you. In other entertainment news, Ozempic is the new weight loss trend that many celebs are taking advantage of. Now, my issue with this right here is Ozempic is actually used for people with diabetes, and many celebrities are actually taking this new trend, trying to lose weight quickly with this. But a lot of it is actually very unhealthy because they lose too much weight. Now, this medicine again was meant for people with diabetes. I mean, in my opinion, this, unfortunately, we live in an industry where it's all about how you look, and it's annoying as all hell because I mean, it could pretty much lead to a lot of health issues that can happen in the future. I mean, you have a lot of celebrities that take things like this to get lean. You have a lot of celebrities that take steroids to get bigger. And it's basically what this industry is demanding off of a lot of these actors and actresses. And I mean, I just don't think that this is right for them to be taking this type of medicine. It's a medicine. It's a medication that people with diabetes need, and they're taking it away from people that actually do need it, paying cash for these injections that people do actually need away from them. I mean, it's not right.
Let me correct you a little bit here. I doubt very highly, except in maybe a one or two very rare cases, that any studio has actually demanded somebody take either steroids, HGH, or something else for a part.
Probably not, yeah.
They have demanded they get into a certain shape, and the actor or actress makes the choice to do that they are willing to sacrifice whatever physically because they're going to do that. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that is
if
100%.
the studio made them do it, Fran Drescher would jump down that person's throat.
In a heartbeat.
That union would beat their for that.
But
However,
honestly, it's a choice, and celebrities have been doing it for years. He never admitted it, but everybody, when they saw, Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 and saw Stallone's physique when he, was training and all this other, everybody knew he had to have taken steroids to get in that shape. It wasn't possible in the short amount of time he had to look like he did without steroids. people have been taking HGH. That's been the new thing amongst actors and amongst Hollywood, to get in shape, to get lean, to build muscle. It kind of does it all. Again,
Shit, I need me some of that.
well, honestly, if you do the research, and I'm not telling people to go out and do anything illegal, but if you do the research, any man over the age of 40 should probably be taking HGH, because
I'm not over 40.
it's something that naturally, I wasn't saying so. I am.
I
greatly.
am. I am too. I'm just.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that one.
Okay, I want to jump in here about the Wegovy thing though, because when you started talking about it, I recalled that I just read something in the news this week. So that will also counter, I think, what you're talking about, Dave. The UK, the National Health Service in the UK, announced this week that it is going to start providing Wegovy to people for weight loss. So it's been approved in the UK, in England. It says the current cost of obesity in the UK are $6.1 billion to the National Health Service, and about $27 billion to wider society. So they're actually beginning to use the same medication in the UK through their National Health Service to help people lose weight, specifically because the costs of obesity are astronomical. If they think if obesity in the UK costs $6.1 billion, I can only imagine how much, and they got way less people than we do, and way less fat people than we do. And I can say that because I'm one of them. Then it's even more billions here. So perhaps the argument is there is an argument, at least, that within short order, the FDA here in the US may approve it for weight loss, and that it may be, if successful in the UK, if tests are show that the side effects are not bad for people who are obese or who have weight issues, we'll probably see it prescribed here more on label for weight loss, and it won't just be.
I'm sorry to say this, but I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off here, but you said the magic word. It's for people that are obese, people that need it, not people that are slightly overweight but can actually do the work and work out. I mean, I
said that I gave you the example of how much obesity itself costs in the UK. To be fair, I don't see them saying. It says the drug is endorsed along with a reduced calorie diet for adults who have at least one weight-related comorbidity. So maybe high blood pressure, or maybe high cholesterol, or one of the different comorbidities. So it's not necessarily just for people who are obese. It could be for people who are just fat, regular old fat instead of obese. Yep. Just plain old fat. As long as you have one of those other associated issues. That's just in the UK, but this, I know that Jeremy mentioned some of these others over the years. It sounds like perhaps this one, at least, the Prime Minister of the UK, the Parliament in the UK, seems to believe this may be one of the first where maybe on label it can be for weight loss also.
That would be impressive. And if it is, that's awesome. I mean, we find out things work for other things they weren't expecting all the time. I mean, look at the history of Viagra. I mean, it's the most famous example. It's a heart medication, and now
we can cure that. I mean, just it only took them 7 months to find a way to cure COVID. Why can't they get my fat to melt off without me having to eat rice cakes?
I'm with you. We need more research.
We got Danny on the stream as well. He's basically saying, my MD is considering prescribing me Ozempic, but unfortunately, the two major side effects are vomiting and diarrhea. Sounds like my friend.
Well, that's how you lose the weight.
I was going to say, no wonder you lose weight.
It's like prescribed bulimia.
Oh my God. I mean, we, like, a lot of people are also chatting here. As someone who battles with obesity, this becoming a fad for those who don't need to lose weight as badly honestly makes zero sense. And the risks are far too numerous for those who it's not designed for. And that's basically my argument for that as well. I mean, it's just, people that want to like take.
That's why we'll let the Brits have the side effects. If they survive, then we'll take it.
It's like, The
They can
guinea
handle it, then
pigs.
we'll try it.
The guinea pigs. Let's see how well that goes for them, and then we'll see if we'll bring it over here. Well, again, these are like these are the types of things that Ozempic and there's a couple other ones that a lot of these celebrities are actually trying out. A lot of people are against it. I personally, again, I gave my opinion about it because it's like, you know what? I mean, having a balanced diet, exercising, and actually getting in shape. Granted, for a lot of people, it's difficult because of scheduling conflicts. I mean, there's a lot of people that can't really do, keep up a regimen or anything like that. But I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'm just going to be honest, like I want Tom Holland to be. That is not my problem. My problem is I don't want to do that shit. I want to eat what I want to eat and sit on my ass.
Well, see,
I'm just going to be honest with you.
my thing is, I'm going to go and I'm going to use your point, Clay, from before, is that when it comes to other people using this, especially if it's been approved and it becomes something that is also being prescribed specifically on label for, weight loss, then great. But as speaking about actors and entertainers, especially actors and actresses, when your entire job is, if you are a successful actor or actress, you are not having to work another job. This is your only career. You're making enough to support your family, to live a very, very comfortable life. Your whole job is to stay in shape or get in shape for the roles you're taking. So I've never had a hell of a lot of sympathy for anybody making, a few $1 million a movie who's, I need medicine to help me, lose weight. No, you don't. You don't work 8 months out of the year. Spend those 8 months working out, taking care of yourself, working with a trainer. You have the money to do so. You'll get where you need to get.
Good eat. You have the money to eat nice salads.
You have the money to get a personal chef.
You don't have to live off of McDonald's and Bojangles, like
exactly.
So,
I've never agreed with that as much. Like I said, I don't look down on anybody for choosing to, take something to get in shape for a role. Like I said, HGH and steroids have been a big part of action films for a long time. That's a choice that an actor makes, and it's something they are willing to sacrifice. It's same in sports. I'm not saying I agree with athletes using performance enhancing drugs, but you're always going to have people who, are looking for an edge, who are willing to sacrifice their bodies or their health or whatever it may be to get that edge.
Well, fact of the matter is that these stars are actually, some of them are actually getting away from Ozempic because it was too much for them. They were like, yeah, they could have lost too much
apparently
weight.
They were shitting themselves like that other guy was, like the viewer was.
It's coming out from both ends. So,
yeah.
Apparently some of them are actually like staying away from it. They've lost enough weight and they're going to go ahead and just, keep moving forward with the next trend. We'll see what happens with that. Maybe that new UK drug. We'll see if that's going to be the next trend coming up. That's it for entertainment news. We're going to go ahead and pass over with something I just made up today. Clay Q&A. How about that?
That's a new segment, huh?
New segment
brand new and exclusive.
It's the Navarro-Miller Report. So Clay, I know that you're coming off the tour with Ruben Studdard and 20 years. Can you believe how long it's been? And I saw
my joints can.
But it's such an adventure. When I saw American Idol season 2, and I saw that you guys were the last top 2 to be in the finals and everything, to myself, I was like, these two guys both deserve to win equally because you guys are both amazing singers.
But apparently, while Jeremy and his family were voting for me, your ass was voting for Ruben. It sounds like.
There you go.
Damn.
I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, I just didn't know who to vote for at that time. I was like, I'll vote for Ryan because I was his intern at the time. I'm like, I'll vote for Ryan. So no, but you guys, it's just tragic that they didn't give you guys both the prize. But even after that, both of you created a huge duo. Was that something that after the show was over, was that something that you guys were planning on doing, just creating a duo together?
No, we actually didn't for quite a few years. We finished Idol in '03, and we both kind of went. I mean, not I'd say we went our separate ways career wise. We went on the Idol tour together, but we stayed in touch. And we got lucky on our season in many ways. One, because we happened to be on the season that the show blew up, right? The first season was 9 million viewers. Our season ended with 40 million viewers. So we ended up very fortunate to be on the year that it sort of exploded. And that helped. We also feel lucky because we were on the season when it was still new to even the producers who were working on the show. It was much more family atmosphere. I think it's very funny that now when we were on, there were 40 million viewers, and I think there were 2 producers. And now the show has been on 21 years. The budget is tripled, quadrupled, and people just aren't watching TV anymore like they used to in general. But we just had this family environment. We didn't know that Idol would change a life. No one had seen Idol change a life when we auditioned. Kelly had literally just finished their season when our auditions happened 2 months later. So we had not seen the impact it could have. And for that reason, since we didn't know the stakes, we also didn't have the level of competition with each other or that competitive edge with each other that I think people had in subsequent seasons. So we just all became friends. We went and we did this show together, and we felt more like a cast of a variety show, I think, than we felt like we were in a competition. Yes, somebody got sent home every week, but we did, medleys together and group songs and all that stuff. And it was just a much more collegial atmosphere. And so after we were done, we had been doing our own thing for several years. And both of us were like, let's do something together. It'd be fun. So in 2010, we did something together, and then we didn't again until 2018. So we've only done it 3 times thus far. We did a tour together in 2010. And then in 2018, I had sort of stopped performing myself in around 2014, and I went to see Ruben's Luther show in Long Island. I was living in New York, and I went to Long Island to see his Ruben Sings Luther Vandross tribute show. And I just watching him do it, I was like, holy crap. Okay, you know what? I know I said I didn't want to perform anymore, but if I get to do it with him, I'd love to do it. So we did a show on Broadway. We reunited on Broadway in 2018 and did a Christmas show and had a lot of fun with that. I stopped performing again after that. And Ruben called me up last summer and said, next year is 20 years. We should do something together again. And he said, I said, well, let me think about it. Maybe next year, maybe the year after. He's like, you can't do a 21st anniversary tour. He's like, that's stupid. So you got to do it next year. So we did. And we not only did, we just did almost 2 months of it on the East Coast. And we start again in LA in September. And we've got shows all throughout the rest of the country, for another 3 months almost, from September, October, November, and then back again in January. So I think the duo thing was because we like each other and we enjoy performing together. The success, I guess, is because people like seeing us together, because we thought this tour was going to be 6 weeks long, and now it's ended up being at least 15 to 16 weeks long.
Are you taking a year break?
Yes, I am, and I'm so miserable. My job is so hard.
Okay, I gotta jump in, Clay. I have to ask you about the National Inclusion Project, and I've known about it for quite a while. Done a lot of reading up on it as well, but I don't know if our listeners have heard kind of how it came about. That story is really fascinating to me. I
don't know which one you heard, because I've told 3 or 4 different versions.
I heard it started kind of with a paper you had written when you were in college, and the kid that you had met and his mom and.
Right.
Am I on the right path?
They're about no, you are. They're all true stories, but they're 3 stories that kind of connect. And sometimes I tell people one or the other. And yeah, so I'll tell you the whole one. So
All right.
I worked at I worked as a special ed teacher in a classroom during the school years in Raleigh before I did Idol. And I had a young girl in my class who we'll call her Tina, who had very, very low functioning autism. And she had a very unique last name. And then during the summers, I would run the summer camp at the YMCA. And I showed up to the first day of summer camp one year, actually the summer right before I did Idol. And I show up to one of the groups that I was, the huddles, and was checking in, and there was a young camper there who had the same very interesting last name as Tina. And I said, "Oh, how unique this last name is. I have a girl in my class who's got the same last name." And the young girl said, "Oh, I know, you're my sister's teacher." And I was like, "Holy crap, you're Tina's sister."
Oh, wow.
What is Tina doing this summer? Because, you know, she had very low functioning autism, and I was curious as to what she was doing when she was out of school. And the sister said, "Oh, she's here." Now, the summer camp that I helped run, was not set up kids with that level of disability. And certainly no one was aware that she was coming. And it shocked. I can still feel the shock that I felt when I found out that Tina was at the camp right then. And I dropped everything and I ran across camp, and I come up, and Tina is sitting there with her age group, and she's flicking a tree or flicking a table, and all the other kids in her group are kind of scared with the counselor because they don't know what to do with this girl who's not verbal. And so I take Tina. She obviously knows me because I'm a teacher in her classroom. I take her with me, and the guy at the director, my boss, said, "Well, you need to call her parents and send her home and have them come pick her up." I was like, "Oh, hell no." You know, I mean, I was really upset by the fact that these parents who I knew had thought that they had a place for their kid while they were at work, had thought that they had a place for their kid for the summer, and we're going to kick her out. And so I got in a fight with my boss, and I essentially said, "I'm going to quit if you kick her out. But tell you what, give her to me. I'll put her with one of my younger huddles. It's not ideal to not be with your age group, but we're working with what we had at the time." I said, "I'll put her with one of my younger huddles. I'll train the counselors on how to work with her, and just please let her stay." And so we did. She ended up having a really successful summer. The kids in the younger group were not as judgmental as the middle school age kids. The counselors were great and worked beautifully with her, and she had a great summer. And then the next year, I was around Diane Bubel and her son, another middle school age kid who I was working with. And that was the summer that Idol was on. And she had watched Idol, and she knew that I could sing. And she said, "You got to audition for this show. You got to audition for this show." And so I said, "Fine, I'll audition if you will just stop nagging." And so I auditioned. Then, you know, Idol happened. And as the show was over, I was finishing up a course at the college I went to, and I had to leave and couldn't finish it while I was doing Idol. And my advisor at the school said, "Tell you what, how about you write a paper? Here's what your prospectus will be. I know you've missed all these classes, but write us a paper about what it would be like to start fountain organization. Make up what you want to, and it has to do with, you know, make it to do with children with disabilities." And and then you can give us that, and we'll make that your project for this course, and we'll give you what you got. And so I created this fake organization, and I called it the Biebers Aiken Foundation, which is what it was called, named after the lady who had made me audition for Idol. And the idea was to solve the problem of the Tinas in the world, the Tinas who want to go to summer camp, or whose parents need a place for them to be during or after school or soccer camp, or kids who have disabilities that are far more high functioning and who want to participate and get left out because they're in a wheelchair, or they have cerebral palsy, or they have some other developmental disability, and they don't get included in these regular extracurricular activities. So I created this prospectus, and I think I mentioned it in a interview somewhere that summer after Idol, that I had been working on this paper. And I mentioned the name of the Biebers Aiken Foundation. And then I went on the Idol tour, the American Idol tour. And again, this is not a real foundation. This is just a paper. This is just a project that I was working on. And during the show on the American Idol tour, I sang Invisible, my single that year. And during that song, people would throw up panties. Ladies would throw up panties onto the stage, and they would have checks written out, made out to the Biebers Aiken Foundation.
Oh, wow.
And I thought it was funny at first. I thought that's funny, but they were making out checks to this organization that didn't exist at all. And so I thought,
You're like, this is a fake organization. This is a fake organization.
I did. And I thought, we started making a plan that I was going to have to return these checks. And then by the second, third, fourth show, we started realizing, oh shit, we can't return this many checks. By the end of the tour, we had something around, I'm not going to remember the number, but I feel like it was $57,000 worth of checks.
Wow.
Worth of panty checks.
Hey,
worth of panty checks.
They spend as good as any.
They do. And I've said to Diane Bupel, who the mother of the son, of the child who I had been working with, who had convinced me to audition, I was like, you know what? There's $57,000 made out to this organization with our names on it. It doesn't exist. Should we make it real? And so we did. Instead of returning the checks, we turned it into the Biebers Aiken Foundation for a few years. It's now named the National Inclusion Project. And we, for 20 years now, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of that organization too this year. And for 20 years, we have trained organizations like YMCA, summer camps, boys and girls clubs, after-school programs, soccer camps, any sort of extracurricular activity to include kids with disabilities. We've given resources to them. Now we're undertaking a nationwide accreditation process where we're not only training people on how to be programs like this, how to be inclusive, how to take care of and include kids like Tina into their programs, but also accrediting programs so that parents and caregivers can know these programs in my area are using an inclusive model that will care for and include my child with disabilities. So it went from panty checks to an organization that's lasted 20 years. And we have accredited or worked with programs in almost every state at this point. I think we're into 40 some states. So it's been a blessing. And it all started with panties.
That's awesome.
Well, I can tell you personally, just from my own personal life, thank you very, very much, because my very bestest little friend is my neighbor, and he's turning 19 this year. He has cerebral palsy. He's on the spectrum. He's low to mid functioning. But
Such a
he's
great kid too.
One of the most amazing little kids, my little Alex, and he's my best bud. And he has benefited from that work you've done. He's been able to be included in those kinds of programs. So thank you.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, listen, I mean, it's been a blessing for us to be. I mean, I said when I did Idol, I didn't necessarily think I was going to do it. I didn't know it would come from it, but you know, I don't, having the platform would not be worth it unless there was something that you could do that said thank you to people. And I would not have been on Idol had it not been for that family.
Mm-hmm.
And I've say to people often that a lot of folks end up being, now all the kids on Idol are 16, 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
And I am thankful that I was 24 when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I was old. I was very old by Idol standards. I'm even more old now, but God, the kids who were on it could be my child now. And I'm very old, but I'm very thankful that I did not have the opportunity to do that show until I was 24, because it gave me an opportunity to grow up a little bit more and to experience a little bit more of the world and understand some, you know, put more of life into perspective, to be able to have the experience that I had as a special ed educator, to understand that there's a lot of stuff that's far more important than just singing, and then take the platform that I had from the show and do something with it. So it's lovely to hear that it's impacted. Anytime I hear that it's been impactful to someone, it's a blessing.
Which is a great thing. Which is a great thing, because I mean, most celebrities, they take their platforms for granted. You didn't. And so thank you very much for everything that you've been doing for your fellow man. And that's something amazing. We got the comments the chat's going crazy right now. We got, actually, Joni went ahead and wanted to give you a message. She said, Clay, I wanted to post here and thank you personally for all the help and strength you gave me, and I'm sure others, from your music. It really helped bring me through a very dark, scary time. Thanks, Jeremy and Dave too. No problem, Joni. I'm sorry that you have to deal with Jeremy, but that's beside the point. We're not going to go
Well,
there.
I'm gonna jump in here and thank Jeremy for a second, because I haven't always been the wonderful person I am now. When I was probably 6 or 7 years old, there was nothing more important to me than Growing Pains, and I'm no shit. I watched it religiously. Show me that smile again.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
And I watched it religiously, and I did one of my first ever lives. My first, as if I tell like every one of my first ever lives when I was 7 years old. This is not a word of a lie, though. This story. When I was 7 years old, I went to a little daycare here in Raleigh after school, and I loved Growing Pains, and I wanted to be a Seaver so bad as a kid. And I remember this for some reason. I made up this whole lie to that daycare that I was in, like my daycare teachers, that I had gone to LA and I had auditioned, and they were going to put me in the show. I'm so serious. They were going to put me in the show this is no joke. They were going to put me in the show, and they were like, what? How? Well, they're going to adopt a boy, and they're going to put me in, and I'm going to be the adopted son.
Oh my God.
I changed school. Hold on. So I changed schools. This is no shit. I changed schools. We moved into a different place in Raleigh that next year. I changed schools, and lo and behold, a year later, after I've changed schools and moved to do a different daycare, right? A year later, that's when you guys added Leonardo DiCaprio in as an adopted kid in the family. And I bet you, I shit you not, I bet you those people at that daycare were like, oh my God, he is on there. They thought I was, they probably thought, was that child?
I guarantee
that's
you're right.
The same child. He did go to Hollywood and make it big. Because I wanted to be a Seaver so bad that I willed that whole storyline onto Growing Pains.
That is
I willed it onto
amazing.
Growing Pains because I just wanted to be on it so bad that I made up this story. Oh, they're going to put me on. I'm going to be an adopted son, an adopted Seaver, and then they gave that damn part to somebody else. They don't. So I've always wondered if whoever that daycare teacher was, if she thought that maybe I did go to Hollywood and that.
Oh, I'm sure she did right at first.
She's been telling all her friends for years he was in Titanic, and then he did a whole bunch. She's followed my career thinking I was Leonardo DiCaprio.
See, I probably couldn't get away with that. Be like, yeah, I was a Latino gay, that they decided to go ahead and put in there. No problem. They adopted me. So, okay.
They did that. It was on a completely different show.
No, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that, Clay. I'm honored, man. I've always been a fan.
I love that
so
show.
The fact that you enjoyed the show.
It's a mutual feeling. So I appreciate the years of entertainment that you all provided.
Absolute
Dave,
pleasure,
I don't know what the hell you're
you just took my thunder away. I was gonna go ahead and follow it. You got me before I could. I was gonna be like,
quick.
well, you'd be the only one.
Be quick to work with me.
Oh my God, that's awesome. It's like you're in my brain. Get away, get out of my head. You're living rent free right now. We got Christy that is saying, Clay, what's been your favorite song to sing on tour? I can't wait to see you in Idaho in November.
Oh, going to Idaho. I didn't know. I'm looking forward to seeing you too there, Christy. They just keep adding shows. I can't keep up with them. What's my favorite song to sing on tour? Ruben and I do added a version at the end. We don't sing much together. We do a lot of medleys of songs that we did when we were on Idol. And so we sing together. We're constantly on stage together, but we only do one true duet. We have our own new production of The Impossible Dream, which Luther Vandross sang. It's from Band of La Mancha on Broadway years ago.
It's a beautiful duet, by the way. I heard that. It's amazing.
We did a stripped down version of it on Idol for the finale, but we have it's a completely different production on the show, and it's the last song of the show. And I don't know, it's my favorite way to end the show. So I'm going to say Impossible Dream probably. So Christy, you tell me what you like best when we get to Idaho.
There you go. There you go. I got, and of course, many of you may or may not know that Clay actually ran for Congress. I got Alex asking, Clay, are you still in politics?
Fuck no.
Smart man.
Best way to say it. I love that response.
Very smart.
But why? Pourquoi?
Oh yeah.
You know what? I got into it. I ran twice. I was not liberal enough. I was not conservative enough the first time I ran. I was not liberal enough the second time I ran. And I've just sort of discovered that you have to be crazy on one side or the other, all the way to the far extremes in order to be successful these days. And I just don't have the energy to be crazy on either side. I'm gonna be crazy in the middle. And that's where, and I just don't feel like it was sort of an extension of what I talked about a minute ago with wanting to try to use the position platform I had to try to do something bigger than me or than singing or more important. And I think I just realized after the last time I ran that I don't feel like there are many politicians anywhere on either side who are actually doing much to improve anybody's life. So I'll sing and make people happy maybe instead. So I'm not doing that anymore. It's disappointing because I used to really believe that was a place you could do something good, but I'm not sure that I have confidence at the moment that anybody anywhere is doing much good for anyone. So I'm not going to be involved in that mess.
We have another question actually from Jeremy's mom right here. She's asking, ask Clay if you remember.
I feel so bad. I keep saying the F word around your mama.
Oh, please.
She's heard worse.
Unfortunately, she's heard it out of my mouth more times than I can count. So.
Especially when he cooks. I mean, I don't know if you knew this, Clay, but Jeremy's actually a professional chef.
Oh, okay, good.
My other passion.
I may have to come eat.
Hey,
okay,
let me know.
I may have to stop by.
If I'm ever in Raleigh, I will let you know, and maybe I'll come by and cook you up a little something.
Please, because I need that. Because God, well, you know what? We've already established that I'm fat, so bring it on. I'll just take some Ozempic.
So
there you go.
My mom wanted to know. She came to see you at a signing or at a meet and greet once, and she apparently brought you an autographed photo that I had done for you. So she was wondering if you happened to remember that at all.
That would have been 20 years ago.
Probably 17 or so, at least. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay if you don't remember. I mean, Jeremy's very
well. I'm not gonna lie. I can't believe I don't though, because I literally would have had to. I feel like I would have had to have been pumped about anything from Growing Pains. I bet you I still have it. I may not remember it, but I bet you I still have it because my mom collects everything. Anything anybody hands me, she keeps it. The two of them compare. My mom has it above the garage at her house. She calls it the shrine. So your mom probably has the shrine.
I was going to say they could compare. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
We also got Danny that actually he sympathizes with your passion of wanting to be on Growing Pains, Clay. He says, I was the same way about Home Improvement when I was 12. I wanted to be on that show so bad after I started watching it regularly as a friend of the Taylor Boys. So
just tell everybody that you're the dude on the other side of the fence. That would be. See, I'm gonna teach you how to do this. I'm gonna teach you how to tell them. Just tell them all that you're the dude on the other side of the fence. They'd never know any better.
Oh my God! And Joni potty mouths. Joni's like,
that's me. Sorry, babe.
It is what it is.
Danny is actually asking. That wasn't the right one. I'm sorry. Clay, Kirk, Tracy, and Jeremy would have made an excellent chemistry combo on Growing Pains. Hey.
I gotta say, actually, I mean, when you said that, I was like, my God, your age was perfect. You would have been like perfect.
I would have been exactly that. I feel like. No, because how old is Leonardo? He's older than me.
Leo's 1 year older than me, and I'm 40.
I'm 44.
Okay, I'm 3 years older than you. So,
okay.
I would have
been a much younger adopted brother.
Well, we could have brought in, they could have, and not that I don't
time for a reboot.
adore,
for a reboot.
Ashley Johnson, who played Chrissy, but instead of bringing in the young baby, we could have adopted a new son. That could have been interesting
There
as
you
well.
go.
So,
I think it's time for a reboot. I mean, I know it's sad. I know that it's sad that Dad would not be around, but I think I could go for a reboot.
I have to agree. We have to see if Warner Brothers has it in them.
We got Danny as well saying, are you going to change up the show a bit for the second leg of the tour?
Not too much, I imagine. Ruben did put a new album out, or put a new single out. He'll have a new album out in September, so there might be something added from that. But it's a fun show. We spent a lot of time putting it together, working on it, and I think that we'll make sure that no one on the other side, on the second leg of the tour, misses out on anything that folks in the first leg got. So it'll probably be very similar.
Nice. And then we got Kristen also asking, I saw you in Spamalot. It was so funny. Will you do Broadway again?
They probably won't have me back, I'll be honest. No, I don't know.
May I ask why?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I didn't. I would love to at some point. Perhaps Ruben and I did that show on Broadway together, so that was my second Broadway show. I want to sing if I go back to do it again. Spamalot was a lot of fun, but it was not a singer show. It was a funny show. It was hilarious, and I laughed every night on stage, even though I wasn't supposed to. But if I were to do it again, I'd want to sing. I'd want to have a nice, good belty song.
Well, I gotta ask you because, and this is something that's so funny because even Jeremy forgot about this. See, Jeremy and I, we are both huge fans of the show Scrubs. And I told him, I was like, he was on Scrubs. He was like, I forgot he was on Scrubs. How was your experience being on Scrubs?
I loved that. And I loved the most about it was because they had their own hospital. The whole show, they actually had a hospital, a former hospital that they used as their set. The whole show was in an old hospital that was not being used anymore. I think it's in Sherman Oaks or something like that. It was right there in the valley. And so because they weren't on a studio lot, that everybody was really tight. The show, the cast was very tight, very good friends with each other. Everyone was very warm and inviting on that show. I do remember that because I've done other shows where it's not exactly like that, but that was a show where everyone really enjoyed working together. It was very much a family sort of atmosphere.
Oh yeah, no, I loved that show so much. It was like Jeremy and I, whenever I hug him, I'm like, you smell like regret. We do things like that all the time.
It's a quotable show for the two of us, and I honestly, it was one of the episodes that I really loved because I'm sitting there and all of a sudden you popped on and they have you, they're going to that Brady Bunch-esque, save the day with
four
the singing
cameras
contest, 4-camera thing. And it was just so perfect having you there as that character. Was it Kenny? I believe
Kenny the cafeteria worker who got fired.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, he comes back and everything's like in regular sitcoms.
You won the
Everything
talent
has to be
show.
solved.
You won the talent. So you're saying, isn't she lovely?
I finally won something.
It was too good.
It was definitely a really cool show, a cool episode. I really enjoyed that one as well. Danny's asking, do you have any summer plans?
I'm gonna sleep. No, I probably yard work. Probably I've gotten very old and dad-like now, and so I spend more. I find that I enjoy doing yard work, and I'm embarrassed to say it. I like going out. There's a dock on the lake down there. I've been totally stripping it and sanding it, and I'm refinishing it right now. So I got plenty of stuff to keep me busy. I'm not a vacation-y type person.
And since I don't know if because you said this before that you really don't know what tours you got going on. JC's asking, Clay, will the tour return to Albany, New York next year?
I don't believe it is. I think we are coming back. You know what? RubenandClay.com. That'll give you an answer right there. I think we do come back to somewhere in that area at some point, but I'm not 100% sure. But you can find out at rubenandclay.com, and there are more shows being added all the time. Let's see if there's a New York on this website.
He's like checking it out. I was like, I got it right here.
I literally am checking it. Nope, nothing in New York. But we do come to the. Oh, you know what? Because oh no, we do have some of There's a bunch more that are in January. We're in Massachusetts. Let's see. You know what? You might have to drive, girl. It doesn't look like we're headed back to. Doesn't look like we're headed back to New York, but we're hitting every other state. We're going finally, I believe. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We're finally getting to Alaska. It's the only show I have not, only state I haven't performed in.
Oh wow!
So,
and Wilma right here, she
looking forward to
says,
that.
Wilma saying no New York, but New Jersey.
Well, look at that. I didn't even need to answer because Wilma's there to answer the question for me. Thank you, Wilma. I can always count on you, girl.
Delius is asking, do you sing Invisible on this tour?
I do not. We don't do anything that I was unless Ruben changes it and wants to do something from this album for the next leg. We chose to celebrate 20 years since Idol, and we try to make the show a look back to 20 years ago on Idol. And so the whole show is stuff that we either did do while we were on the show or would have done or was adjacent to that time. Even the music that people walk into and that people have as they're during the intermission, even that music is all music from 2003. It was all the hits on radio in 2003. So
Nice.
we're transporting people back to 2003.
Well, we
are. Oh my God. Holy crap. I got to stop for a second and let you know where we are going. October 11th. No shit. We're going to Marion, Illinois. I'm gonna find that dude. I'm gonna find that dude who stole the backhoe, and I'm gonna have him on as a special guest.
I want to see a picture. I want to see a selfie.
I knew I'd heard that name before somewhere. Wednesday, October 11th, Marion, Illinois, performing on a backhoe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we got a request for you real quick by Meg. She's asking Clay, sing the whole Growing Pains song.
Oh my God, girl, you got to pay for that.
Exactly.
It's a duet. It's a duet, Meg. If you log in, then if you call in, then I'll sing the BJ Thomas part, and you can sing the Jennifer. Is it Jennifer Warren who sang
Jennifer Warren? Yep.
The girls part. Yeah. You got to log in and sing it with me, Meg. I will tell you this funny thing though, because I was a big TV nerd when I was a kid. I auditioned for American Idol with the theme song to Perfect Strangers.
Oh, nice.
I loved me. No, not cool. It was not a good. It was not a good idea.
No.
No. It was. I was so nervous. I had like 5 songs that I had prepared in my head, and I was so nervous when I walked into we were 5 people in a row. And I walked into the audition in like a cattle call and was so scared. I was the first person who had to step up, say my name, and none of the 5 songs that I had prepared came to my head. And so the first thing that came out of my mouth was, standing tall on the wings of my dreams, rise and fall on the wings of my dreams, rain and thunder, wind and haze, I'm bound for better days. And the producer, thank God, he sent everybody else out and he said, 5230, you stay. And after everybody had gone, he was like, what in the hell was that you just sang? And I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's the theme song to Perfect Strangers. And he said, we'll tell you what, sing something else. And he let me sing something else. I sang Always and Forever, and I made it through, thankfully. But yes, I love a good TV show theme song. And so that's how
there we go.
That's how I made it on Idol. But I could have sung the Growing Pains theme song because I did. That's probably the best theme song maybe ever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The Growing Pains one.
I happen to agree, but I'm biased. So
show me that smile again. Don't waste another minute on your crying. We're nowhere near. The best is ready to begin. If I sing any more, then you guys are gonna have to pay like after rate or something.
We'll
like
have
that.
to work.
So
we'll work something out.
I'll have to stop.
You just made my day.
Oh, good. My kid's I made my kid get off the computer so that I could talk to you guys. He's gonna kill me. I'm gonna have to hop off here in a minute.
No worries.
He's gonna kill me if I don't let the computer go.
No worries, because that's the news. In case you haven't heard it, thank you so much for joining us here on the Navarro-Miller Report, everybody. Clay, dude, it's been an honor to have you on the show. I got to ask, where can people stalk you on social media?
I was lucky enough to get my names. I got Clay Aiken on Twitter and on Instagram. So as long as you spell it right, then you'll find me there. Although I don't post on either one of them very much, so I'm very boring.
And you also got the website www.rubenandclay.com, and that, I believe, that's where people could go ahead and see shows of the tour and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Thank you. That's correct. I would have forgotten to do that. So my management and publicists get very upset at me.
We're on top
I'm no
of
good
it.
at promoting myself. RubenandClay.com. Yes.
Hey, an absolute pleasure. Really a treat having you on. Thank you, man.
Likewise, my pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
No worries. I'm your host, Dave Navarro, along with this guy, the bane to my existence.
I'm Jeremy Miller.
And again, thank you so much, Clay, for being on the Navarro-Miller Report. Make sure you guys check us out on YouTube. Subscribe so you can check out all our episodes every Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. normally, Pacific Standard Time. And we'll make sure to be here for you. And everybody, you guys have a great weekend. We will see all of you next time.
You have been listening to the Navarro-Miller Report.